Focusing back on my question of interest, how copper levels have changed over time, specifically in Missoula and Warm Springs, what attributes do you think I would pull first? For me, what I think I'm going to do is put the year on the x-axis. So you click, hold, and drag and release, and it self-populates. The metal of interest that I was curious about was copper. So I'm going to click and drag and pull that to the y-axis. You'll see that Codap is amazing, and it already feeds this data into a graph. It's also worth noting that we need all of our parameters, so the attributes that we've pulled, to be numerical. If you click on the title of the y-axis, in this case it's copper, you'll see that there's on the bottom, treat as categorical. So we're already being treated as numerical. Same with the year. All right, so yep, we're both being treated as numerical. The only attribute that you would ever want to treat as categorical is your location. So, thinking back to my question, I had two very specific locations that I was curious about. Missoula, and let me get this map back up here. Missoula compared to Warm Springs Pond. When I look at this graph, I don't see that location is denoted. It has the year, so over time, and the copper amounts in microgram per liter, but it doesn't tell me what location these points correspond to. This is where Codap is pretty amazing, because I can actually drag a third attribute over to my graph. In this case, I'm curious about location. I'm going to click and drag. And for this third attribute, you're going to want to put it right over the center. You'll see that the data points become colored, and they correspond with this table. So you could spend time examining all locations, understanding the copper trend over time. I'll just show you this fast too. Now that we have our locations denoted, you can actually pull a different heavy metal right onto the y-axis. So let's take zinc, for example. If I take zinc and replace copper with zinc, it will shift it around. But I'm going to focus back on copper here because that's my question that I'm curious. So let's go a step further. This is great now that I know the data points that are corresponding with the different locations. But again, I'm interested in Warm Springs Pond in orange and Missoula in red. To isolate this even further, what you're going to do is hold down the Shift key on your keyboard and select the locations that you are curious about, whether that's 1, 2, 3, etc. You then click on the eye icon on the graph and you say hide unselected cases. Amazing.